Welcome to Canada's podcast.
Hi everyone, I'm Phil Bliss, founder and CEO of Canada's podcast, coming to you today from Toronto. Adeyinka Adedoja is the founder of WeivSync, based in Toronto, Canada. Her passion to create WeivSync is rooted in her passion for travel and the challenges she faced as an immigrant navigating to a new country. Although she started with a background in finance and economics and worked in roles at the TSE and as a business analyst in a SaaS company, it was only when she moved into product management that she truly felt energized. This role aligned perfectly with her love for problem solving and innovation, setting the stage for the creation of WeivSync. So, Adeyinka, welcome to Canada's podcast. What I want you to do before we get going is, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you got here, just so they've got some context, if you like.
Thank you so much, Phil, and thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I really appreciate it. And I'm Adeyinka. I'm Nigerian. I was born and bred in Nigeria before I relocated to Canada 3 years ago. To be honest, my journey started as a financial analyst, where I even had my master's in UK as a financial investment manager, and then because I transitioned to business analysis because I prefer the versatility and I wanted to transition into tech. And most importantly, I've always wanted to transit to be an entrepreneur because I was raised in a household of entrepreneurs. In fact, for a long time, I was even working with my father, on his estate project where I was a project manager. And so because of that, I've always knew that my line is going to be in the entrepreneurial line. And even though I missed my way a few times, I'm very grateful that somehow I found my way back and I'm now in the line I hope to be in and working as a product manager and founder for WeivSync. And basically that's my journey so far. Oh yeah, and I'm a product manager. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're also a founder. I think that's which is why you're here, basically. So interesting. Say you grew up in entrepreneurial family. Do you think does that mean that entrepreneurs are sort of a little bit of a cult of their own? Is entrepreneurship inherited, or is it something you grow into, kind of
thing? It's just I saw my uncle building his own oil company from the ground up, was self-employed, because my father came from a family of not so well established people, and I saw my father struggling to help his family and all of those things. And I saw my uncle building his own company from the ground without the company now is really established. And I saw my father building his own company in the real estate. And I see my mom being a business, having numerous business boutiques all over a region in Nigeria, and I appreciate their journey. And it's not like it's something that was inherited. It's just I saw what they are doing. I saw how they're impacting and how it's changed them. Like there's this transformation when you have something you are really passionate about, something that you are really committed to, something, and it transforms you into this kind of person where you're not you're like an all-rounder. You're building something, you have to learn to and then you have this exposure. I don't know if I'm explaining well. I can say in my journey so far as an entrepreneur, I started as a product manager because I'm a product manager at first. But so far, because I needed to transform my company or my startup, I've taken up the role as a product designer, taken up the role as a marketer, storytelling. I've had to learn all these things so I can be on top of my game. And I even did a little bit of, I have to be technical. I have to be, because I'm in the tech industry, I have to learn coding, all this language, something I wouldn't have done if I was just focused more like in the, 9 to 5 corporate world. And this is what I noticed when with my uncle, my dad, and my mom, and different people in Nigeria. And I would say Nigeria has this entrepreneurial spirit because the government doesn't really help you. So you finish you go to school, do the best course you can, and then you go out there and then you're unemployed because the employment is really terrible, and you find that a lot of people have to like start out on their own, either be in the artisan business. Like numerous of my friends back home, they're either having their own business where they have airlines, or they're in the interior decoration, or they're makeup artists. Like everyone has a thing in Nigeria, because if you're waiting to get a job in the corporate world, it might take a long time. So I guess in a way that also influences a lot of Nigerians to want to start on their own. Yeah.
Yeah, good point. So tell us a little bit about your passion, WeivSync.
Yeah. So yeah, WeivSync. So what happened initially was, to be honest, I wanted, like I said, I always knew I was going to be in the entrepreneurial road. And because I wasn't from the finance background, I wanted to start this financial, I was going to go into the fintech. But something happened that derailed that. So I did a lot of traveling. And during my time traveling to this world, I came across so many trouble for solo travelers. I came across the fact that there's, even though the world has developed, there's still the issue of using numerous applications just so you can plan your trip, or the fact that there's language issues, like getting lost in Montreal because then I could not speak French, or the fact that you have to still buy before, because you want to go to another country, you have to still buy SIM. These are things that I think, because technology has gone to a place where things should be easier. And so when I saw all this problem, I feel like WeivSync can help. So that was what started WeivSync, like this passion, just to help solo travelers. And the fact that solo traveling is growing. Like from last year, the market size was around 400 something billion US billion, and it's growing. The CAGR is like 13%, and a lot of people are traveling for personal development, which was what I did as well. And because there's this market and we're trying to niche, so I try to focus on helping solo travelers to enjoy their trip, and making travel much more easier and much more convenient, and to even inspire people to travel more, because I feel like traveling is a big part of our personal development. There's this exposure, there's this understanding where you see people doing other things, you get exposed, you try more new ideas, you are much more free, and then it's just this wellness. So yeah.
Canada's podcast is your gateway to success in the world of entrepreneurship. Start listening today. canadaspodcast.com. Subscribe now.
Where are you at in terms of challenges now? What's in terms of the business? I mean, what do you see as your biggest challenge in the future?
For WeivSync, I would say it's going to be market saturation and competition. Number one, because it's a tech space. In the tech world, technology is really fast. So you either leverage on existing technology, or you're trying to build. You find that, for instance, now, when OpenAI came up with their language assistance feature, it renders a lot of tech, a lot of startup that has that specific use case almost out of job, because if you are trying to build one use case in your startup, you find that you'll be redundant, because big companies are doing all these things. Or imagine Apple with their with their new features, like the calculating features or the the satellite features. And there's some small tech startup like that. They're trying to build their whole business model on those use cases. They are now rendered almost useless. They have to like struggle. So that's the problem with tech right now. It's so competitive. Now, apart from that, the travel market is really even much more competitive. You find out that what you're doing, a lot of other travel companies are doing the same. But the thing is that what WeivSync is trying to do is that right now we're trying to provide this unique way. First of all, we're trying to niche, like narrow down our market segmentation and do something for a really niche group. And also we are leveraging, like I said, a lot of things that other travel companies are not leveraging, like language assistance, safety tools. A lot of travel companies are not focusing on that. And this is the major concerns for solo travelers. So I think we just have to like understand the market and try to niche and provide a product that people can actually love and adopt. So that's the goal for now.
So what are you most excited about in the business today?
In WeivSync or being an entrepreneur?
In WeivSync.
I was talking to a group of people in Collision, the tech conference, and one of the thing I love most about WeivSync is the fact that the way we have used UGC for in the platform. So we are not in such a way that if you want to travel to any country now, you can easily come on WeivSync and search for the country, and you could see what others have done, because there's this recommendation feature where people tell you just what they think about their travel, whether in terms of budgeting, in terms of recommendation, in terms of the cultural insight or safety of that particular trip. And you can use that recommendation or tips to guide your own trip. Because even this came out of the fact that even sometimes Google does not provide some specific information that traveler needs in their travel. And this is where WeivSync is also trying to provide specific information for travelers. And amongst all the amazing things WeivSync is doing, this is my favorite part in WeivSync. And I don't know, I think I'm also very passionate about travel because I'm a traveler myself. And even the whole team, we have an initiative where from next year, when we roll out some very features, everyone is going to travel with WeivSync and document their trip with WeivSync, come back and say, okay, this is what our WeivSync helped me. This is how we can go better. This is how it's actually helping travelers. Maybe there's some features that are redundant. So I would say, I think we are doing something right, because the culture of the company is built around passion. So
interesting. What do you think your biggest challenges as an entrepreneur? How do you get to that success?
Well, my biggest challenge right now is being an introvert, and it's taking a lot of time for me to build on myself, because I'm going against my instinct. And this instinct is an habit that I've created along the years, where I'm just an homebody. I rather just stay behind scenes. For some reason, that's how I've been doing. But now, because I'm like the face of the company, so I have to challenge this instinct, and it has been the biggest challenge so far. Yeah. And I have to go against all of my instincts. So yeah, but I'm general. I've been working
That's
on it.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of being, you know, a newcomer in a sense to Canada, breaking through and being an entrepreneur, you're not the only one. Is there something that you could say to others that are going down that path? Some piece of advice that might help them because it's tough,
In terms of being an entrepreneur.
in terms of being new, being an immigrant, being an entrepreneur, breaking through. Is there something there that you've found out that has helped you get through, if you like?
Right now, my answer is unexpected because I would say it's delusion. I don't know. I feel like I've been running on delusion for the past month. But honestly, what I would tell other founders is the fact that if you have if you have a solution and you feel like you can create an impact, and the most successful founders I've noticed are not the smartest people, actually, are people that are resilient, that don't quit, because there's so much uncertainty in this road. There's so
Mhm.
much it's so much stress. And but what I would know, I haven't regretted my journey so far, because like I said, it has led me to a numerous number of opportunities I never thought I would get. And the fact that I've learned so much. I've learned so much. I feel like I'm a new person compared to last year, and it's just been a short journey. I think it's just to understand who you are and what do you want to do
Yeah.
as a person. Like, what do you want to do? Some people don't want to be an entrepreneur. That's fine. You can always but I would suggest to people to always have a side project, because why on that side project you don't know where that journey would take you, even if it's just taking a side project like of knitting, because then you start learning how to make something much more beautiful. You start learning how to you start learning so much. I don't know. I've had to, like I said, I've had to learn so much on the journey. Like in a day, I have to pick up Figma for product designing, and I had to build a whole new user flow for WeivSync, and it's been an amazing journey. So I would say, even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, I would tell people that you should always have a side project.
Stay ahead of the game with our expert tips and strategies that will help your business thrive in a digital era. CanadasPodcast.com. Subscribe now.
What about mentorship? Is there how important has mentorship been to you in this journey so far?
Not so much. I haven't. The kind of mentors I have are my friends, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
They inspire me. I I have a friend. We are not really close right now, but she also came from India. She's now the CEO of one of a project of a what's it called, of Maple Hair. Maple Hair is a private jet company that
That's good.
yeah. And she came here. She inspires me a lot. I have
Mm-hmm.
a friend. Most of my friends are my mentor, because if I feel like I'm stuck, I see their journey. I talk to them. We always help each other. I suppose that's how because I don't know. I don't understand the having a mentor. I've never had a mentor, or I would say maybe my father is someone I look up to as well, and my
Yeah,
uncle.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's where you learned it. You
yeah.
saw them being entrepreneurs. You know, just let's have a bit of fun. Are you a morning or a night person?
I'm a night person. I hate Mondays.
Uh,
I'm not very friendly in the morning.
and if you had to pick one word to describe yourself, what would it be, and why would you choose that word?
A word. I don't know if I would use a word to describe myself.
Well, a phrase, whatever. It doesn't have to be one word.
Okay, yeah, I suppose I would always, amongst everything, I would always consider myself to be very intentional, because I know I'm very intentional. Like I wanted to leave Nigeria, and in a way, even though, like I said, you make plans, you get derailed, but I feel like because of my intentionality, like how I, put some plans in place, has brought me here. Intentional, and the fact that I'm resilient as well. Like, my God, with my journey, if I start breaking down so much backstory, I would have quit a long time ago. But I'm very resilient and intentional and curious. I'm very curious as well.
What's the biggest challenge in your future as an entrepreneur?
My biggest I don't know. I guess we answered that being an introvert. No.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did talk about me being an introvert.
Yeah, you said an introvert, but I mean, what I was saying, what's the biggest challenge in the future as an entrepreneur? So in your journey to succeed in business,
okay. In business. I don't know. I cannot. I don't
Okay,
think.
it's all right. It's all right. That's okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What's keeping you up at night in the business?
Right now, is the tech part of the company? Is the back end? We have had so many tech issues, and that's because our platform is a bit technical. We were supposed to launch 2 weeks ago, and we were not able to launch. So this is what is keeping me up at night, and how we have to relocate our database and all of those things. That's what is keeping me up right now.
Okay. I think we're pretty close to covering most of the things. How can people get a hold of you online? Say they listen to this and say, I want to know more. How can they get a hold of you?
Well, I have a platform on LinkedIn. Adeyinka Adedoja on LinkedIn, and you can always reach WeivSync website or WeivSync support email, which is support@weivsync.ca. You can always reach me there.
Okay, Adeyinka, thank you very much for coming on the Canada's podcast. It's been super meeting you.
Thank you so much, Phil. I really appreciate, and I appreciate what Canada Podcast is doing. I've learned so much with all the podcasts so far.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, that's kind of cool. A very different type of approach to things. So I'm Phil Bliss, and thanks you all for listening to Canada's podcast, where you meet the entrepreneurs that really do drive Canada's economy. See you again soon.